like we're going to have a chat.
I'm here with Gregg Berger, the voice of Grimlock and many others. First of all, how are you? Are you enjoying the convention?
Not only the convention, but an entire week in the UK. I was fortunate enough to bring my son and daughter along. My wife was unable to join us. She's taking care of her mother who took a fall. But we've been from Liverpool to London, through the Midlands, local style, not tourist style, not in the back of a bus, but running for every train and every tube everywhere and having adventures all day, every day. So this weekend has been unbelievable, and I don't think anyone is going home unsatisfied, unhappy.
How did you get involved in Transformers?
I had just been cast in a show by Wally Burr, the director of Transformers, called The Littles. That was the first animated show that I had done. He had seen me in a play in Los Angeles and was impressed by my versatility in that play and began to think of me for more and more kinds of roles. He had me in to read, and I was the new kid in the cast, and I did my best to absorb what the artist furnished, what the writers furnished, all of the clues that are inherent to the breakdowns that writers gift actors with. Then at some point you just dive in and try and put all the elements together and come up with something that's your own and consistent to everything that you've been furnished. Then, if you're very, very fortunate, it sounds like what they envisioned, and you get the job.
You played a lot of characters as well as Grimlock, including Skyfire, Outback and all. Which was your favourite one to play?
Over time, I would say Grimlock. Grimlock had more was asked of him. He went through more changes. He had more to do. Sometimes so much more to do in the new Brain episodes that I dropped my script when I started reading it because I thought, how do I get from here to there? But I became a little less aggressive and a little more intellectual, a lot more intellectual, and I made a pronoun adjustment, and the rest is what you've all seen.
Is there any other characters you would have liked to play if you had the chance to?
Oh, this is me as a person, but I'm so grateful for what I have. I don't really give a lot of thought to what I didn't have or didn't get or anything like that. I'm too busy doing what I was fortunate enough to actually get.
Do you still see any of the cast in view?
I see so many of the cast, it's ridiculous. That box set has just come out through Shout Factory in the US, and they rounded up, I did all the episodes of G.I. Joe also, so they rounded up all of us who were from the G.I. Joe cast and the Transformers cast, and a few who were in one show or the other, and they reassembled us. And I'm always comfortable talking about any of it to anyone, but there was some concern about what would we talk about. We still see each other, but we haven't discussed those days in a long time together. Brian Ward from Shout Factory, I said, we'll just kick it around like we always did. Brian Ward said, let's just start the tape and see what happens, and he fed a few helpful questions, and the next thing anybody knew, it was an hour later, we were out of tape, and nobody had ever stopped talking in the entire hour. It was just like the old days. The new days and the old days are very similar. We've all seen each other repeatedly. We're up for a lot of the same things. We see each other. But it was really nice to sit in a round table and just kick it around like we always do.
How much of the cartoon would you say?
How much of
Transformers?
G1? G1. Pretty much all at one time or another. I look forward to seeing the newly released version. There's a lot of special features attached to it, but also it would just be fun to go through it again. It's like reading a book you loved and reading it again.
What's your fondest memory of Transformers?
Oh man, there's so many. I guess the time the cast spent together, there were frustrating moments and hours and technical breakdowns and things that just happened along the way. But we spent so much time together that the jokes were great, and I think we all kept each other entertained and we kept each other sort of in the zone throughout. And in those days, frankly, there was so much activity for me and a lot of us who were in both shows that we really needed agents because somebody had to point us at where we were supposed to be next because we were already late for something else. So it was kind of, those were essentially golden days of animation in general. But there was so much being produced that it was very easy to stay extremely busy most days, at least for those of us who were in the working circle.
Have you seen any of the new movies? What do you think of them?
I've seen both. I think they're visually splendid. I mean, I can't help thinking about the animated feature that we did. I feel like the animated feature had extremely developed characters and story points and twists and turns and surprises. I've enjoyed the new movies. I've gone really just to take the ride that they are, and they're visually eye-popping, and it's like the great roller coaster ride. And Michael Bay has been very successful at realizing that cinematic reality that we depicted in animation. So just to see the size and scope of some of those things on the big screen in seemingly live reality is thrilling.
Would you be interested in reprising your role of Grimlock in the new movies?
If you're asking, the answer is yes. Were it to come up, were it to be offered, I only get to go where I'm invited, and it would be lovely, lovely to be invited into that. Sure, I would love that.
You've been to lots of conventions recently. What do you think of the fans?
I feed off it. It's my opportunity to say thank you. It's their opportunity happily to say thank you, and I dig the vibe absolutely, sincerely, and completely.
Why do you think Transformers has endured so as long as it has? Its 25th anniversary.
I think there's a certain mystical factor attached to it. I think the odds against anything becoming identifiable in the first place, the odds against are astronomical. But when something does, and when something is embraced, and when something is held dear for this long, I think you just stand humbled in the fact that that happened, and be respectful of it. And I think it's because it was made by people who cared, and I think the short answer is, when you care about the characters, you care about what happens to them. And I think somehow between the drawing and the writing and the casting and the execution and Wally Burr's direction, we created something that endured.
Right, can you just do a bit of Grimlock's voice for us now?
Who? Oh, him. Meet Grimlock, meet Dinobot leader. Slag and sludge do what Grimlock say. Big muscles, small brain. Not so small, but
Let's hear
me being defensive.
Let's hear his famous line.
There are many. Which did you have in mind?
Me no bozo, me king.
That's what I imagined you.
Me Grimlock no bozo, me king!
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click on the like button and leave us a comment below. Also, spare a moment to share this video on Twitter, Facebook, and all your social media pages. To get updates on all of our latest videos delivered straight to your inbox, subscribe now using the link on the screen.